Plastic pollution is among the most dire environmental challenges of our time. It threatens to obstruct our ocean and continues to contaminate our food and water. The facts and figures are sobering at an almost incomprehensible scale. My topic is going to be about the efforts to remove plastic from the world's ocean. Microplastics have made their way across the globe and into the ecosystems as remote as the Arctic sea ice. In 2008, Vice documented the scope of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a subtropical gyre where marine debris concentrates due to the ocean's currents. 8 years later, Vice followed up on this problem visiting one of the most polluted beaches in the world, Camilo Point in Hawaii, and explored how the plastic is finding its way into our food chain. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is located in the central North Pacific Ocean and is larger than the state of Texas. Plastics are transported in the ocean where currents meet. This means that huge plastic islands are made as a result. Sea Education Society scientists studied plastics in the Atlantic and calculated that there are 580,000 pieces of plastic per square kilometer. Chemicals in plastics are released into the water as well as the atmosphere. Fish easily become contaminated from the chemicals in the water. This is a direct link of how plastic chemicals enter the food chain. We, the people, are in charge of fixing this problem. We can have all the resources and funds to resolve this issue, but it takes our communities to change our ways of consumption. Plastic is everywhere, but if we have the means to live a sustainable lifestyle and privilege to pressure our government to fix this issue, we should try our best. If nothing gets done to end plastic pollution, it could lead to a lack of predation and overgrowth of one species. It can also lead to further extinctions as the prey dies out and the predator runs out of food. If this is the case, fishing for food will never be the same. The fish may no longer be there. A huge problem that is extremely affecting our environment is microplastics. Microplastics have made their way across the globe into the ecosystems as remote as the Arctic sea ice, causing marine life to consume these toxic microplastics. Since the plastic has been circulating for so long in the currents, they break up into very small little particles which get the name microplastics, and they're almost nearly impossible to clean up. It is estimated that 700,000 marine species have encountered man-made debris, and nearly 90% of seabirds consume plastic as part of their daily diet. This plastic is lethal because it contains chemicals and toxins that eventually kill off these animals or can kill off an entire species if matters get worse. An issue that is mentioned in the video is that there are already 165 tons of plastic waste in the ocean, and it only gets worse. To put this in perspective, a fully grown polar bear weighs about a ton, so that means plastic that weighs 165 polar bears is circulating in the ocean. If this issue is not resolved soon, an entire species will go extinct. Another extreme problem is plastics going into our food chain. Not only do the toxins in plastic affect the ocean, but acting like sponges, they soak up their toxins from outside sources before entering the ocean. As these chemicals are ingested by animals in the ocean, this is not good for humans. When the fish eat trash, they are actively consuming chemicals that eventually will be going into human bodies that consume fish. And this can later create diseases and illnesses. Fish is an important and sacred source of protein in many indigenous and rural communities, and our planet depends on these indigenous folk and communities. There are several different causes on why plastic has become such a huge issue in our ocean, starting off with littering. Carelessness has made people throw rubbish anywhere without thinking about the consequences of their actions. Many people do not realize or underestimate the negative impacts of littering on the environment. People believe that their individual actions will not harm society as a whole, and as a result, it is common to see people throwing wrappers, cigarette butts, and other rubbish in public areas. Another cause would be that under a capitalistic society, living a sustainable lifestyle is nearly impossible. Ethical consumption suggests that production for profit is acceptable as long as it comes from a more kind and gentle version of capitalism that treats its workers nicely and cares about the environment. The idea of ethical profit is an oxymoron, considering that all profit is the unpaid wages of the working class, privately appropriated and hoarded by the ruling capitalistic class. The logic of production for profit and competition on the market means that capitalists must always try and lower their costs of production by squeezing more out of the workers and cutting corners on the workplace safety and environmental sustainability. Ethical consumerism, by putting the blame on individual consumers, aka the working class, absolves the ruling class of any responsibility for its despicable treatment of workers, animals, and the environment. A solution to this issue would be to pressure government officials. If we had funding to remove plastic waste adequately or companies use sustainable packaging that was accessible, then this wouldn't be such a huge problem. Under a capitalistic society, the blame falls in the hands of the government. They have the power to fix this issue on a larger scale than the people do. Rwanda, being one of the most overpopulated and poor countries, has been named the world's first plastic-free nation after introducing a ban on all plastic bags and plastic packaging in 2008. With that being said, the United States, being a first world country, has the power to pass and fund the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act of 2021 to improve health in our planet and people. Although living a sustainable lifestyle under capitalism is impossible, there are many different ways that we as a community can help to reduce and eliminate this issue in a way that does not cost us a lot of money. For example, using a cloth bag instead of using plastic bags at the store, not purchasing beverages that come in plastic containers, and purchasing reusable bags to package leftovers or snacks, or even disposing of your plastic adequately can help in way more than you think. As you heard from the speech, plastic in our ocean is damaging our ecosystems, so we must organize in our communities and pressure the government into passing the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act of 2021 and continue to fund plastic pollution management organizations.